Good morning, guys. We have early access Hotfix 11 here today. Looks like it just barely dropped. The servers have just come back up. So if you're looking at the time this video was released, it probably came out within the last like 15 minutes of when this video dropped. This is the typical maintenance downtime, etc. Looks like they've upped it to 3.5 hours this time, but they did say that it came up early down here. So make note of that. During maintenance, all services and the website will be suspended. Okay. And then patch notes here. We have a big one. Lots of stuff going on. Fix an issue where the trade pop-up may not close properly. Okay. Movement speed now has a hard cap of 350. Okay, that's actually really smart. So if I get hasted, I get invised, I get bard buffed, I get cleric buffed, right? If I get all these things, hard cap movement speed 350. No longer will your barb be running in at 500 move speed or something, just smashing someone instantly. So I think that's really good. That should slow the pace down, which I think they're trying to do, which is really awesome. The quarterstaff now deals 100% damage no matter which part of the quarterstaff hits the opponent. Okay, so they've changed the sweet spot on the quarterstaff, so it's way easier to just get max damage hits. Actually, you'll always get it, so if you hit them, this is a great buff for the quarterstaff. Before, they had a lot less movement speed penalty on it than a lot of other weapons, and that was too strong, so I think they're trying to give it another niche that's better. So we'll see if this actually fixes it and makes it good again, or if it's just meh. The axe specialization was changed from +5 additional physical damage flat out to 10% physical damage bonus. So this is a nerf for horseman axes mainly, I think, because this was just a huge advantage on that, right? If a horseman axe did 25 damage and you add 5 to it, now it does 30. It's like a, 25% increase in damage overall instead of 10%. So they've really knocked that down for things like horseman axes. Rogues double jump slow on landing, duration reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So they're actually buffing rogues. Interesting. I really didn't expect that. I feel like they're still overperforming. I feel like I can do way better on them than basically any other class, especially solo. And it's pretty much the only thing that you see in high roller and a lot of things, right? Like 80% of the lobby is solo or grouped rogues that just kind of run around and annoy people. But yeah, buff to rogues. We go from a 3-second slow duration to a 2-second after double jumping. That's not too bad. That seems fair. 3 seconds did feel pretty long, but they may still need some tweaks on other things. I still think they do way too much damage right off the bat for how much mobility that they get. Wizard's haste duration decreased from 12 seconds to 6 seconds. Holy crap. Wizards are gonna be upset. So their haste duration, which is what increases their action speed, like how quickly they attack, as well as their move speed, is going from 12 to 6 seconds, which is really bad for them. The only thing that actually lets them live right now is the fact that they can haste and viz themselves. And it looks like that's also getting gutted. The invis duration is going from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, which it was at 7 before. This has already been nerfed. I think this is too much. I understand what they're trying to do, right? Because the big problem right now is buff ball, right? So if Bard is buffing people, if Cleric's buffing people, if Wizard's buffing people, and it's all on the same target, okay, now that's completely broken. But solo Wizard and Wizards in general who aren't buffed by 10 other things are going to feel way worse. You're basically just not going to be able to escape anything at all, which is like the whole way that your class works, right? You have to stay away from people and cast spells, otherwise you're dead. If anyone gets close, you're gone. So I have a feeling this is going to be really bad for Wizard, but we'll find out. I see what it's almost less of a problem with Wizard and more of a problem with buffing other people. I wouldn't mind them changing these back to like 5 or 7 and 12 and then making it so that Wizard can only cast it on themselves. Honestly, having haste and viz being self only would fix a lot of things. Then Wizard gets to still feel strong, and Buff Ball still gets nerfed. You can no longer have like a hasted invisible barbarian just appearing on your head, or a fighter or something like that from half a room away. So I see what they're trying to fix, but I don't know if this is the solution. Movement speed reduced from 70% to 65% of base move speed when casting with a spellbook. Oof. Why? Why? Okay, so wizard moves even slower now when casting, which was already really bad. Um, Movement speed reduced from 70% to 65% with casting. Okay, so both spellbook and crystal ball casting got nerfed. Okay, poor wizards. Achilles strike. Physical damage on hit reduced from 10 damage to 0. Hooray! Okay, this is good. Achilles strike has been completely broken. I've actually been playing Barbarian the last couple days and just messing around with it. And the amount of times that you just one tap someone with a like Francesca axe with Achilles strike is way too high. So Francesca axe, if you didn't know, a green one does 30 damage, and then it was doing an additional 10 based off of Achilles strike proc, and then 5 damage every time the player took a step. And then all of these numbers were increased by your physical power, which if you're a barbarian and you have a ton of strength and you pop your little rage ability, which gives you another 15 strength, is about a 50% increase. So this was actually doing 15 damage and this was actually doing like 7 per step. So, and then the entire 30 was also increased by 50%. So that's 45. So you end up with 45 plus 15, right, which is 60. And then you have another 5, which is actually 7. So we're all the way up to 67 damage on a single Francesca axe. And then every time they take a step, it's another 7, 7, 7, 7, right? And you just one tap people all the time. And if you get a headshot, it's 1.5 times all of everything I just said. So we're nerfing that. That's really good. And they've actually buffed it too. Achilles strike slow debuff increase from 10% to 30%. So when they hit you with it, you're going to be really slow, but at least you're not going to be instantaneously dead from all the damage. Accelerando's duration decreased from 12 seconds to 8 seconds, and movement speed boost decreased from 579 to 357. So the movement speed buff on Bard is nerfed again, and it doesn't last as long, so that's good. Drum's movement speed penalty increased from -20 to -30. Okay, so Bard is also getting nerfed there. I think that's a fine change. They just can't run with the entire group quite as well while they're playing all their music constantly. Francesca axe damage has been slightly reduced. Okay, so they're also handling that. So instead of being like 19 on the grays, and then it was 25 on the whites and 30 on the greens, and I think like 35 on the blues. I'm assuming this is getting squished similarly to all the other weapons. This was definitely missed in that, so we'll see how this actually turns out, but hopefully that'll be pretty good. I'm okay with this. Bard's Song of Silence now targets all nearby targets, including oneself. Okay, that's really good. I actually ran into this yesterday, and it was really dumb. The Bard was able to just continually play Silence. He had enough knowledge that there was basically no downtime. It was like a quarter of a second that I could attack before I was silenced again. But his entire team could still just hit me the entire time, and he was fast enough that I could never get away from him. So I just couldn't play the game until I died, basically. And I just ran around the circle for a good like minute and a half before they killed me. Really dumb. So that is being changed where it's everyone. The effect radius of Bard's Unchained Harmony has been changed from 600 to 300. I don't remember the names of Bard songs, Unchained Harmony, but the range of it has been halved. So that white circle that you'd see around the bards of like where everyone gets the buff range, you have to be much closer now. So people are going to have to more liberally group up to get buffs instead of them just being able to run around and usually hit people with it. Bard's Tranquility now heals 1 recoverable heal per second over 10, 20, or 30 seconds. Okay, so they've really slowed down Bard's healing as well. So you put Tranquility on the target, and depending on how good of a song you play, right? A really bad song only lasts for 10 seconds, and you get 1 HP per second, so you heal 10 health. A really good song heals you 30 HP, but it takes 30 seconds. I'm okay with this. This just slows down the pace of the game. Oh, here we go. So a Tranquility effect now only applies while resting. So what happens now is, right, your teammates are going to have to sit down, start resting, which is going to risk their gray health, right? Before you never needed to, and then he'll play that song, so you'll heal both while sitting down quicker and your normal sit down heal. So you'll actually heal pretty quickly between the two of those, but now you have to sit down to get the Bard healing, which I think is actually good. Turns him less into a healer, which with the 65% recoverable health change, he was much more of a healer class than he was previously. We also have Bard's Coral of Clarity effect, now only applies while resting, which is the getting your spells back one. So another nerf there. I think that's also good. Instead of just running around with unlimited spells on Cleric and Wizard and things like that, you have to sit down in order to get the spells back effect. The animation of Horseman's Axe, Hatchet, and Viking Sword have been changed slightly. We'll have to see in game what those actually end up being. Horseman Axe was pretty good. Viking Sword, I hope they increase the speed of it a little bit or up the damage again, because it was really just clunky. These were all really generally pretty fast attacking weapons like these two. I'm wondering if they've adjusted them to be less downward slices or if they've changed the speed. We'll find out. And here's the developer's comments. We are currently looking into ways of slowing down the high tempo of the high-end game, since it's much faster than we originally envisioned. Although we have some large changes in the works that specifically target the tempo of the game for next week, we believe that we needed to address the current speed death ball meta. Yeah, they're really focusing on buffing other players in an urgent manner with some hotfixes. We plan to have a more extensive rework of the Bard class while starting to flesh out the Warlock in the future. Along with continual balance changes to better align with the skill versus gear balance we seek. Sweet. So yeah, big patch here. Hotfix 11 is huge. We're going to see how this plays out. I think Wizard's going to feel pretty bad, especially if you don't have gear. But everything else looks really good. I'm pretty happy with it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch y'all later. Remember to like and subscribe.